Hello, everyone. It is Nancy Rebecca again, the founder of Psychic Mastery One program. And you've been hearing from several people with testimonials. You've been in our 3-day free masterclass. And so today we have Elaine Collin, and she has offered to come on today and to talk a little bit about her, kind of what drew her to the program, maybe what she thought the program was going to be, or what she hoped the program was going to be, what it turned out to be. And I really appreciate Elaine, because I know it's not easy to come on a public forum and kind of just share yourself with the world. But I'd like for you to tell me a little bit about yourself. But where are you from? Because your accent is a little definitely not American.
Definitely not. So I'm from the East Coast of Canada. So I'm born and raised in French. So that's but I've been working in English most of my life, I guess. So we have a opportunity to be a bilingual province.
Nice.
Here in the Maritimes. Yeah.
Nice. And so you're way on the East Coast, because I'm here in the Pacific Northwest. So we have we're on West Coast time, and you're quite ahead, like 6 hours ahead, or what? How many?
Oh no, 4 hours.
4 hours ahead. I'm thinking about Newfoundland, I think.
Newfoundland would be 4.5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're a half hour ahead of us.
Yeah. So you're a little further east than even the East Coast of the United States. So
yes.
Yeah, it's pretty far east. And so when did you join Psychic Mastery One?
So the way it happened, I actually found out about you through your course or offering for Healing Touch about the Year of the Healer, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's how I found out about you, and I joined in April. So I've had a few sessions, or like videos, or sessions with you in the beginning from January, I think, to April. And I really like your style, and it's almost like what is palpable is your generosity in what you share, and the way you do it. And I really felt matching pictures. I really felt
because we're both nurses.
Yeah, we're both nurses. We did Healing Touch, both of us. You did intensive care, and I did too, but in labor and delivery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we share a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So just because of that, and you remind me of ex-colleague too that I really appreciated too.
So there were a lot of little things that ticked your boxes when you decided to join the Psychic Mastery One program, which you've been in for a year, and you've even decided to go to another level, joining Psychic Mastery 2. So we've been together a few months since then.
Yes.
But going back, so you had already been familiar with energy. Have you considered yourself intuitive all of your life, or what got you interested in energy?
It started in early 2000s that people were saying to me that I had talent, or that I was intuitive, or that I could heal the world, and I couldn't really understand. I was kind of younger at that time. I must have been like late 20s maybe. So I had time ahead of me. But yeah, I think I had a few, I would consider myself intuitive without knowing it, because it wasn't in our, it wasn't known at that time, right? That,
We didn't have a language for it.
No, right? But I was always interested in esotericism and spirits, and all the odd things, and looking into that, and the supernatural and stuff. So that I think I did all have some affinity with it. And then I tried the Healing Touch. That's what came into my life, and I finished the program from 2005 to 2008.
Yeah.
And then I never was able to practice as a healer,
Mhm.
but I was a nurse, so I
Mhm.
was able to integrate my just the presence, like
Yeah,
a healing presence, instead of not necessarily doing the techniques, but
exactly.
doing. Mhm.
Exactly. Well, so even though, I would say I think my curiosity about I will just say the unseen world, unknown world, I think everybody's got a little bit of curiosity there, but I do remember definitely just only wanting to go so far with it. Now, for me, it was when, I was really overwhelmed with stress of family members dying and work and being the mother of teenagers and that the stress that I wanted to find something to help me with that stress. But what ended up happening was, yeah, then all of a sudden I started having the stress kind of pushed me to say there's got to be something else out there because I had called every doctor imaginable, and so starting with meditation and intuitive development, it didn't make logical sense to me, not as a clinical intensive care nurse, but the felt sense, where it was just like, this is right. I don't know how to explain how it's right, but it is just right. And so how did you end up then uh, being, you said healing touch, and then you decided to do the program, and you talked about the whole timing. It sounds like you tend to have things, the timing falls into place for you a lot.
Yeah, some people say that a lucky star is over me for sure, and I consider myself very lucky. And you're right. This course, the your what you offer came into my life in a very auspicious time,
Mm.
where I was going and giving as a nurse, and giving my all, and then I took a few weeks as a what do you say, um, just a health break for a few weeks, because I wanted to have
Like a
a.
mental health kind of break or
Yeah, yeah, just to. And then it's in those weeks that I realized that I was really, no, Elaine, you're not just tired and exhausted. You're really burnt out here, like
Mhm.
to a crisp. And so the 3 weeks went on to 15 weeks, and then unfortunately I didn't have the support of my job in this state of mind, so
Mm.
they released me. Um, so I did have a lot of challenges according to that, but my gosh, um, throughout the fears of not having any money, or throughout the fears of not accomplishing what the society was asking of me,
Mhm.
having a flourishing career, and how am I going to do it, I said, no, this time I need to take care of myself. And I found that with your program, the everything, like, I feel you have a beautiful platform of both self-taught videos we can do on our own time, but then we have some kind of how do you accountability, because you offer um, mentoring Mondays, you offer other sessions that help us with all this.
Yeah, I call it kind of a hybrid program because people will say,
Yeah.
is it just all online? Well, yeah, it's all online. And it's been online. I think I developed the first kind of platform of psychic mastery one, which I called it the home study. And it was definitely for everybody to work at your own pace. And it still is like that. But I'm such an experiential teacher. I love to engage with people. I don't do, I love to meditate and isolate and that way. But as a teacher, like I really wanted to help people. And um, and so when you had this idea, you had already been exposed to kind of my teaching style. So I tell everyone I'm an experiential teacher. So what that means is it's more valuable to me that you get your information from your own spirit than it is me telling you what to do. And that can be, did you find that frustrating a little bit, or did you feel like you got your
It's
questions met?
You know what? I find it a little bit frustrating, but you know what? I don't know why, but probably because since I started with the psychic mastery, that my relationship with the higher self is has gone stronger. And
Mhm.
as soon as I have some frustration, they kind of I feel it, or I feel, or I hear an answer saying, "No, no, it's for an answer, Elaine. You got to figure out by yourself."
Yeah,
And when I can share my story or have a question and have a reading, those are the times when it doesn't. It's not for me. It's for people. It's when I ask. Anyways, it's funny how it works.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
when it's something that I need to figure out by myself, spirit will do that. I will
yes,
figure it out by myself, and
yeah.
that's fine. I understand that.
Well, and it requires trust and faith, but how do you, with my teacher hat, like, how do you build that trust and faith if you're not pushed kind of lightly into that situation to do that? And I can definitely tell you my experience with it.
Mhm.
However, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
And intuitively, I get information in different ways. And I have a lot of years of experience. But, at the beginning, I had to start to, they say about babies learning how to crawl before you can walk. So, what would you consider your style of intuition? Did you know what your style of intuition was before you joined Psychic Mastery?
Well, I remember the first few times. Okay, it's good. I'll try to stay to the point. But the first few times, uh, it was really a knowing that I had that was predominant. I kind of knew things that didn't exist, or I kind of knew what was going to happen. And I found that it was very hard because I didn't have confirmation. So it was just like a little whisper saying, "This is going. This is this go this way," or "Don't do this," or. Uh, but anyways, but now I guess I'm an empath. Really. I found out in a few last few months that really I have, and it's true, I have to go see what's going on in somebody's body to know how they're feeling. And it's something that I did, though. I worked at it, and without knowing it, I developed it because I have my child who's on the autism spectrum,
Mhm.
and she had a hard time to really let me know how she feels, or what. So it was always a guessing game. So it became natural for me to go see how she's feeling and
Yeah.
have a better idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I always say, so there's 4 intuitive styles, and that's one of the things that in the program, you'll really start to get a sense about what your style is. You can have all 4 styles. So it doesn't mean that you're just in that one lane, but usually people who are strong knowers, so knowers are the highest ability of intuition, but it's the least trusted because you don't have anything to back it up. But what I find is I kind of call it an emotional chaser. It's like, well, I've got the intuitive hit. Now I'm going to check in to see how my emotions are feeling. And I love that when when you talk about your daughter who's trying to emotionally express them, and she's a teenager, anybody out there has got teenagers, you know, they're they're trying to figure out what they're feeling. And when you can kind of tune in as a mother or, as a caretaker, it kind of levels you up a little bit in
Yeah.
being able to meet those needs.
And in my work setting, it really helped me to do an assessment
Mhm.
because even sicker people with complicated disease, they have a hard time to express what how they're feeling, or either physically or emotionally, or anger and stuff. And I don't know, but just talking to them, I had a better sense of, I call it like the undercurrent message, like the true message.
Yeah.
So if they would, be crying or be angry with grief or something, I could see their distress, or I could feel, or
Mhm.
I could know that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then you could help kind of bring it up, and then the
Yeah.
person would be able to say, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I had this, I teach at a senior housing facility. I teach meditation, and they'll go into these conversations, but we're taught to talk about our knee pain. We're taught to talk about our headache. We're taught a little bit to talk about our emotions, a little bit, but for the most part, I think most people move through the world don't know how they're feeling. Intuition is how your spirit talks to you. And as a nurse, I could ask people questions physically. I could ask them, how are you sleeping? How many drinks of beer do you have a day? You ask all those standard questions, what's your nutrition like? But we never asked how they spiritually, if you have an outlet. And that's what I think is really missing in the world is we don't, and it doesn't have to be a particular way. I mean, your intuition is just connecting with your spirit. So in what ways then, when you did Psychic Mastery 1 and you started working through the program, how would you describe what you thought you would experience and then what you experienced?
Well, I was always very excited to with all the modules and the flexibility and everything. I was a little bit overwhelmed with all the information and tried to direct, to see, what I can do and what to do and when everything is to appreciate the most of the program.
Mhm.
But I couldn't say otherwise, like what it wasn't going to be like. Um, a positive what it wasn't going to be like is that unlike other programs out there for energy work, it's not just a weekend and it's not just online. So
Yeah.
there's this accountability part and the partnership part, and that we get to meet other people and talk about our experiences and our things that we learn, and we get to practice more now in the second
Mhm.
year of
Mhm.
PM2 or Psychic Mastery 2. But just to experience what it can be. And yeah, so no, I there that's the good a good not it's not going to be like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I appreciate what you're saying, because you're like, what was really helpful is there's a lot of information there. I draw from a lot of experience to share
Yeah.
with you. And then it's you having your own experience with the techniques. Like you said, you loved the flexibility when you're a nurse and you're a mom and you have a teenager and you have life that you've really, especially for us who are academic, you want to try to follow everything, but giving yourself permission to say, hey, if I need to take a month off, I need to take a break or a couple months, that in that program, you're able to do that.
And I think it's a natural process to do so.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning that like I had a lot of resistance in sitting down in meditation. So
Mhm.
it's a learning process, right? To sit down and meditate and have and build this discipline, really.
Yeah.
But it takes a while, and it gives us this flexibility to do so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up as well. So the learning style is you sit in a chair, you close your eyes, you turn within. I voice guide you through the meditation, but Spirit's always telling me, Nancy, if you can just get them, it's like, okay, if you can just get Elaine to close her eyes, I will take over, which is your spirit. It's like, I can't teach her if she doesn't get quiet and she doesn't close her eyes. So I'll guide you, but it's your own spirit that takes over that teaching. And for people who say, I can't meditate, it's hard to meditate, how would you describe to them? Because the reason why you learn in meditation is to have the experience with the techniques, and they're spiritual techniques, they're intuitive techniques. You've got to be intuitive to experience them. But what would you say is different about the meditation in this program?
Oh, it's lovely. I really appreciate it because it's active. Like you use a lot of your imagination or your creativity. So
Mhm.
it's not just based on breathing and not seeing anything and accepting the ideas and letting them go,
Yeah,
like other styles that I've experienced. So it's more tangible. We get to feel like we get to feel or see or that the grounding and then the
yeah,
earth energy and
yeah,
experience those energies, and we get to a point where we can feel it.
yeah, yeah. And it is natural in adult education just to let all the adults out there know that if you just are somebody's reading out of a book or you're learning and writing it on a chalkboard, you're going to retain about 20% of it. But in adult learning, just like life experience, when you have an experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the hurt, the joy, you're going to remember it, and that's why 80%, you're going to remember 80% versus 20%. And so I call myself that experiential teacher because that's how I learned. Even as a nurse, I learned by doing much
Yeah.
more than I ever did sitting in a classroom.
For sure. Well,
Yeah,
there's things that we have to do as a nurse that
right.
is hard. And it's the same too for, it takes time. That's one of the frustrations that I have is it takes time. You gotta sit. You have to. Well, you have to sit and then experience it, and then reap those the what the discipline that you've
Yeah.
used. Um, and then it gets you going to more and more because you have to sit first and
Yes.
extend and just go through the motions,
Yes.
and then after that you get to feel or see how it feels and what you can see and how it changes, and the results sometimes. And
Yeah.
after that you just want to do it. I
Yeah.
reached a point that I just wanted to meditate, and I was like, is there a time that meditate is there such a thing that too much meditation, right?
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, I gotta live my life.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people that like the hardest part of my job is getting people to the chair.
Yeah.
Once you're in that chair, and that's why I'll tell the students, like, just tell yourself you're going to sit for 2 minutes. Next thing you know, you want to sit for 4 minutes, and the next thing. And
Yeah.
so you don't have to know how to meditate before coming into the program. I voice, guide you through that. But let me just kind of go back to what you talked about as a nurse, and that you knew something was off, so you took 3 weeks off, and then you realized, whoa, I'm a lot more burned out than I realized. And sometimes that's what happens when life slows down. You start to realize, well, I'm really out of sorts. And then you took additional time off, but you didn't know. I'm just going to make assumption. How do I get myself? I feel like my life's falling apart. How do I put the pieces back together again? So being in the program, how is that, if I can put it mental health wise, how has that
Mhm.
helped your burnout, your mental health?
um well, it was my I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it well, but a like a something to ground me. It was my ground.
You felt
Tether.
tethered back
Yeah.
into your life. Yeah.
Yeah, so otherwise, I think I don't. I think I would have just been like aimlessly trying to figure things out. But I thought about medication and to help me out with that time of my life, but I didn't do it. But I'm not saying that I'm against
Right.
medication. I'm just saying
Right.
that I wanted to try somehow else,
Yeah.
and I chose to invest in my self-care and my health and my well-being.
Yeah.
And if I know that medication would be there if I didn't succeed, but it's doing well, like the vibrancy, the colors are back, and
In your
I
life.
I f- yeah, and I find a sense of joy instead of maybe a year ago I just felt empty and lifeless, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's beautiful way to share that. I don't often get to hear all your personal stories.
Yeah, right.
in that way. I believe in these techniques so much. I know they're going to help. And I was writing to someone the other day. I said, I expect them to help each and every person exactly where they're. I expect it. I don't think that it's going to be hit or miss. I know that
Yeah.
it's going to help people if they do the techniques, if they sit in the chair. But there's all that training in it. But we can have fun too.
Oh,
We
it's a lot. It's lots of fun. Sometimes we have cold sweats, and sometimes we have, when we do sharings or exercises, it feels like
got
I'm gonna
rooms.
I'm gonna jump off the cliff, and it's all the emotions. It's all the emotions before, like the hot sweats and the nervousness and everything. And once we get into it, it's so fascinating how things just appear before our eyes. I was like, no, I can't be. It's fascinating. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, I always say that, with the students, when I'm teaching you a little segment, and you might go into the breakout rooms, and we do that once in a while in Psychic Mastery 1. We do it a lot more in Psychic Mastery 2. But I love that part when you all come back out of the room, because you might go in the room, like when you come out of that room, it's like your smile so big.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, that was so fun.
And into the program, that's what I say too. I do it for me,
Mhm.
being very egocentric that way.
Yeah.
I feel myself first, and hopefully
Yes.
I get to help out or share my techniques
Yes. Yeah.
later on. But because, like, yeah, if everybody would be a little bit more grounded and in their center or in their energy field, or just know a little bit more about their energy field, while the changes we could see in this world. Mhm.
Yeah. So, and that's why as a nurse, I really wanted to provide some tools that help people. It's stressful on a good day. And in the
Yeah,
world right now, the stress is way over the top. And mental
yeah,
health, as you know, as a nurse, we keep hearing about this, that's our next kind of global crisis is
crisis for
mental health.
sure.
We don't have enough therapists. And turning within, and to be a source of comfort and nourishment and light for your life from within. It's all right there. You carry it all with you, but we were never taught how to do that.
Right. So yeah, right. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so how about your relationships? We'll be just about ready to finish up, but as you started filling yourself back up again, and you started feeling centered and tethered back in your life, you took the power back from the stress and feel empowered again. How have your relationships, have you noticed anything about your relationships changing around you?
Yes, they have, in major way.
Oh,
So it's hard to explain, but it's still in the transition. Um, it's almost like the people who are essential in my life remained essential in my life, and then the people who didn't resonate with me anymore, the frequency wise, they
mhm,
kind of drifted off.
mhm.
And yes, so yeah, it changed, and I think it's going to change even more, because I don't think I'm done with my transition or my transformation.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm still healing. I'm still getting myself back
Yeah,
up on my feet, and strong.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, I was, when you get to working with me as a student, and I go a little bit more in depth, but you have to remember, I had I came to this level of healing 28 years ago, or in the early 90s. And it was meditation. You had to hide to meditate. People, they were not in alignment with that. And my marriage did not survive me
Mhm.
meditating. And I know it sounds really silly now, but it was a real issue for my ex-husband. He was very frightened for me. He was frightened for the children, and I did lose a lot of friends, and a lot came back after they realized, oh, after I settled again, they came back around. But yeah, things in when you start changing your inner world,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I lived that a few times in my life, actually, that people drifted off when something happens, and I feel that I'm in this another transition now. So I'm
Mhm.
really in the midst of reconstructing myself,
Yeah.
and
Beautiful.
yeah, to have people that are more you know uh, suitable for art, that will resonate more in our lives. And I
Yeah.
mean, through the group that you create, we have good friends there.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. And we do have some people in the Psychic Mastery One program that have been there since 2013, and they just keep hanging out, in the program. And we have new people. We just had, huge group that just decided to sign up again. So I think that's a real testament to how much value that they receive in their life from it.
For sure.
So let me just ask quickly, what made you decide to go into Psychic Mastery 2, which is another level? So in Psychic Mastery 2 is where Psychic Mastery 1, I want to use intuition for my own life. And then Psychic Mastery 2 is, I think that I would like to help others with my intuitive senses. So what drew you to that?
I'll try to be short, but as soon as you open the doors for Psychic Mastery 2, um, I said, no, I can't do it. I don't, I don't have money. I can't do it. And then the spirit says, no, no, you will.
Oh, wow.
And I said, no, no, I won't. And they said, oh yeah, you will. And I said, okay, well, I've got a tendency to um, leave, like, and not to follow through my programs or the courses that I subscribe
Oh,
to.
so you were concerned about that too.
Yes. So I said, well, we'll see if I can finish the modules before the time is up, and I will see. And I did, and I was able to create the time.
Yeah.
So but it's almost like as like right from the beginning, I had a feeling that I needed to do the
Mm.
second course or the second year.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you're enjoying it.
I'm totally enjoying it. I love it, love it, love it. And I still say it's for me first, but hopefully I'll be able to share it with other
Yeah,
people,
you
because
definitely will. Yeah.
mhm,
Because it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
it's wonderful. Yeah.
So as we are closing up our conversation, and other than telling people join Psychic Mastery One, you'd be crazy not to. Just at another level, if you could just really share from that heart place of, yeah, what would you like to share with people about this opportunity that's coming up?
Or to join Psychic Mastery 1.
Or just, yeah, a little bit
Just
about the value, yeah, of Psychic Mastery One that it can add.
um, well, I'm kind of liking that you're not known a lot.
Yes.
Anyways, in my part of the
Oh,
world,
that's
because we
too
get
funny.
because we get to have a little bit more of you.
Oh, sweet. That is so sweet.
But it's like, if somebody is listening to this and they feel drawn to they don't know what to do next, and they're looking for something with a lot of support, and they can do from home, and they can meet all kinds of people that share, well, I'm going to call it weirdness, but that
Yeah.
that secret place where we can't share easily with other people. That's it's they're going to find it there, and they might be able to even, like, find the strength to move forward and just step
Yeah.
up and step up and self-care, do some self-care.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way to put it. Uh, and it's definitely, you might get in and find it's not right for you. And absolutely, you're allowed to step right back out again. But it's,
if I,
yeah, it's a
if I
great.
can add something else too, if I can I don't, it's again, there's a place for therapy, with psychologists and stuff,
Yeah.
but I feel that it could even be better than that, in the sense that the follow up, not that you're a therapist, but the inner work that you do
Yes.
will help you a whole lot more, maybe that because of the consistency.
Yeah.
And was in my life, that's something that
Yeah.
that I noticed and that I've experienced too.
Yeah. 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 And I also, went through several years of therapy, and then the energetics is just another level. It's like the spiritual imbalances that you may have experienced, some hardships in life.
Yeah,
Your human body wants to talk things out with a therapist, but there are some things that it just comes with deep inner work that you
yeah,
can't get to otherwise. So I really hear what you're saying, and I'm a big believer in both, when it's needed. So, but thank you for adding that, because I know that was a real huge component for me when I thought it's going to help me to be a better healer. It's going to help me to be a better mother. It's going to help me to be a better nurse. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, I thought the healing was for everybody else, but it's for me. So I can relate
right.
to what you're saying.
Yeah,
Oh, well, thank you again so much, Elaine. And for those of you who have enjoyed our conversation, you can go ahead, and I'd love for you to make a comment in the comments section for Elaine to let her know what really spoke to you. And Elaine, if you'll just stay on for a little bit after I shut off the recording, that would be great. So thanks again, everyone. And yeah, just put some notes in the comment section. I read everything that you write, and I will respond to it as well. So, all right, take care, everyone. Thanks for popping in, listening in, and joining us. All right, bye-bye.
bye. Thank you.